Lead y'all off with a little tune. If you want me to stay, I'll be around today to be available for you to see. I got to go, and then made to stay here. I got to be me, and never being down. That's what it's all about. You can't take me for granted and smile. Ha ha ha. The plane, I'm gone. Forget it reaching me by phone because I promise I'll be gone for a while. When you see me again, I hope that you have been the kind of person that you really are now. Well, I got in straight. How could I ever be late when you're a woman taking up my time? Oh, how could you ever allow? I guess I wonder how. They take it out of pocket for fun. Ha ha. Oh, you know that y'all never do. What y'all number one gonna be number one? Oh, that'd be good. I wish I could get this message over to you now. Sorry. Join me in the Ear Doctor Thursday for Classical Breakdown as we break down a Sly Stone. Of course, the funk R&B legend made his transition in recent days. And of course, Sly Stone is an icon, a black music icon. Y'all need to get into it, get involved, set your alarms and your notifications right now from Black Liberation Media for this Thursday edition of Classical Breakdown with myself and my brother, the Ear Doctor. What's going on with y'all, chat? My fire fam, good morning. Shit. Good evening, depending on what corner of the world you're joining us from. I appreciate you guys making time. It's Burning Down with Kim Brown. This is the place where we set oppression ablaze, and more importantly, we try to correct the fucking narrative, baby, because the bizarro world has come to fruition. Now, we have been living in the upside down for quite some time, but it is actually quite obvious that as bad as things could and have been, they can totally get worse. Yes, but wait, it gets worse. We are on the precipice, the threshold potentially of yet another U.S. military entanglement. You can't even call it an entanglement if we start the shit, right? With no one else than Iran, right? It was just a matter of time. For years, this has been long predicted by anybody who has been a watcher of the region that without a doubt, the United States and its proxy, Israel, it's not real, whatever you want to call it, was going to get involved with some sort of shit with Iran because Bibi Netanyahu has been calling for this for literally decades. I hope you guys have seen the clips of folks who have scoured the internet accurately, finding clips from as far back as what the oldest one I think I saw was 92. It was definitely in the 90s where Bibi Netanyahu would get on American national television, be sitting down on the American political talk shows and stressing with all the urgency that, of course, Iran is only 3 hours away from creating a nuclear bomb. We have to do something about this, he says in 1992, in 1998, in 2003, in 2005, in 2015, in 2018. And now Bibi Netanyahu said he's tired of waiting and decided to let the chopper sing unilaterally, preemptively. That is a word I really fucking hate, by the way. I hate that preemptive applies in this situation because it denotes that Iran was ready to launch an attack on Israel, which they absolutely weren't. So Israel is now feeling the effects of its own actions. But of course, as I mentioned days ago, over the weekend, in fact, was it the same day as Trump's military dick parade, of which scant numbers of folks decided to attend in Washington, D.C. For Trump's birthday party? I don't know what the fuck it was. It was a pathetic show, whatever it was. But anywho, Netanyahu dropped bombs on Tehran where we have at least 200 Iranians killed, probably more than that. thousands more injured. Iran, of course, has responded. Whoo, shit. I know them Israelis has got to be pissed off at Netanyahu like, nigga, like, nigga, what? Let me tell you how Iran has suffered casualties and damage, no doubt. But let me tell y'all something. Israel has not been hit like this in a very, very long time, with neighborhoods being decimated in Tel Aviv, with oil ports, oil and gas facilities being wiped out in Haifa, with Israeli air bases, strategic military targets just being obliterated. And the crazy thing is, us here in the West, we are not going to get these pictures, y'all. We're not going to get these pictures. We're not going to get these updates about really how well Iran is doing in this war that it did not choose. Iran absolutely has a right to defend itself, right? If Iran wants to let the chopper sing all over Israel, they're entitled to. You know why? Because they were hit first. So now Israel gets what it gets. You get what you get. And the United States, of course, is allowing itself, and see, I don't even know if that's the proper terminology, because as my more learned friends on Black Liberation Media on this morning's episode of the Remix Morning Show very clearly state that this is exactly what the United States wanted, in spite of its public-facing, seemingly willingness to sit down with Iran for negotiations about Iran's nuclear program. This doesn't have anything to do with that. And to be clear, hey, hold on, let me back up. Because I was about to bring in Pakistan. I'm like, nigga, if y'all gonna go at Iran, Pakistan said we next, nigga. Pakistan said, nigga, don't worry about it. We do got the chopper, and we will let it sing if them niggas come for you. But anyway, hold on, let me back up. So Israel, in typical genocidal state fashion, is strategically targeting civilians. Yes, they did target the Iranian Revolutionary Guard generals, okay? But that does not constitute simply a military strike. You know why? Because they struck these people while they were in their beds, in their apartment buildings, and without consideration to the innocent lives, dozens, hundreds at this point, that were also lost, in addition to the Iranian generals and the nuclear scientists. Too many regular ass Iranians have lost their lives, as has been the case in Gaza, as has been the case in Lebanon. So when Bibi Netanyahu gets on television and makes a naked plea to the Iranian people in English, bitch, tell me that you're not serious without telling me you're not serious. Who the fuck are you talking to, motherfucker? He's going to make a plea to the Iranian people for them to rise up against their government and to, to depose their own leader. But he's making this plea in English. So it was very clearly intended for a Western audience, not for the Farsi speaking peoples of Iran. Okay. And Netanyahu openly calling for regime change of Ayatollah Khomeini, who is Iran's HNIC. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Like, he is the top religious leader, and the state leaders come and clear things with him before they do things. And which is another reason why we can safely assume that all of this ginned up rhetoric surrounding Iran being on the verge, they're this close to a nuclear bomb, is utter bullshit. The Ayatollah declared in a religious fatwa. Now, I am not a follower of Islam, but when the HNIC, let me back this up, the HIIC, the head Iranian in charge, when he say we cannot, per religious edict, develop a nuclear weapon. Why? Because that's not the kind of religion Islam is. True followers of Islam do not want to see bloodshed of innocents. But at the same time, the Iranians are here to let you know that we ain't no fucking punks out here, motherfucker. And let me tell y'all something. Hold on. Let me show y'all this. Because as a journalist, I was extremely disturbed by these pictures. Of course, I'm assuming that you have likely seen the footage of the Iranian presenter sitting in the studios of the Iranian state TV and media office. And to be clear, Iran is a closed society. They have a whole lot of censorship. You know why? Because the West brings nothing but foolishness. And I can't even say I fucking blame them. Like, you see the amount of censorship that happens in Iran and China, it perhaps may have some justification, because the level of Western propaganda can absolutely destabilize, trick, manipulate people into believing something is the case that it's not. And for in the interest of fairness, absolutely, can state television do the same thing? Put out a single message that only its people, only giving its people one perspective of things? Of course. At the same time, though, Iranian state press, TV, radio, etc., is there to broadcast information to the country about what's happening in their country. So when Israel decides to take out, again, civilian infrastructure, you can call it state propaganda all the fuck you want. Let us not talk about what passes as news on Israeli television, okay? But the point is, every state has the right, their sovereign ability to put out what they want within the borders of their country. But I want to show you this as a journalist, because I was very perturbed to see this. But again, this is consistent with how Israel wants to literally kill the message and the messenger. Let's take a look at this clip.
یا در اختیار قرار دادن وسیله نقلیه، همچنین موضوعات مختلف. خیلی متشکرم از اینکه با ما همراه هستید. آنچه که ملاحظه می‌کنید تجاوز رژیم صهیونیستی به خاک جمهوری اسلامی ایران و منطقه صدا و سیما. آنچه که ملاحظه کردید، صدایی که شنیدید، فضای غبارآلود استودیو
That is a horrifying scene. And to be clear, the reason that I showed it, and like I said, I'm assuming that most of you have seen that, but the presenter did survive. You heard the voices of her comrades in the background screaming Allah Akbar, right? God is good. We just survived this bomb. And they did, thankfully. But just to give you a sliver of the horror that the Iranians are dealing with. And to be clear, this is what the Palestinians have been dealing with for now circa 2 years. A full-on genocide, an attack on almost exclusively civilian targets. Now, Israel can claim that they did attack or attempt to attack some of Iran's nuclear facilities, but from non-Western media outlets, I'm gleaning that Iran has got its shit so deep down in the mountains. Like I realize like how ignorant I am to the geography and the topography of the country of Iran. Like we don't learn anything about Iran, right? So anything you know about them, you better go teach your own self. But the way that this country is set up geographically, it is ensconced in these mountain ranges. So penetrating Iran's borders, period, is a feat. But getting to their nuclear, because by the way, Iran said that they started preparing for this. They knew this moment would be inevitable, that either Israel or the United States or both together was going to somehow launch an attack on this country. So once Iran saw the invasion of Iraq not once but twice and thrice in the 90s and then in the aughts, Iran started stockpiling all of its shit, by the way. Iran, according to folks who know better than I, claim that Iran is sitting on hundreds of thousands of missiles, okay? Now, some of these missiles are decades old. And I saw a clip from Scott Ritter. Scott Ritter is a U.S. military analyst with a questionable personal background, which is why I do not use Scott Ritter clips on my show. However, he does know his shit when it comes to this stuff. And he claims that Iran is shooting off rockets that are 20 and 30 years old getting the attention of the Israeli Iron Dome. And then when the Iron Dome missiles are going after the bigger, older Iranian missiles, that's when Iran shoots over the good shit. That's when they start sending over the hypersonic joints that can juke and zig and zag. And the Iron Dome is out here looking like trash, son. Straight trash. And for all the shit that Israel popped off about Hamas and the Palestinians and how Hamas is using the Palestinians as human shields. Oh, Hamas has got the command centers in the bottom of the hospitals. That's why we had to blow up. We being Israel, not me. I am not them niggas, but Israel claims that's why we had to blow up every hospital, every NICU, every intensive care unit because Hamas, because Hamas. Well, we all know, gang, every accusation isn't indeed a confession. Everything that Israel claimed that Hamas is doing, that Hezbollah, that the Iranians are doing, Israel themselves have been doing exactly this. And I want to take to a clip from an account on TikTok called Charlie the Commie. Charlie the Commie was walking around Tel Aviv after either the first or second night of Iranian missile attacks. And I like to show you what Charlie the Commie discovered on his walkabout through Tel Aviv. Hint, spoiler alert, it could be that Israel is using its civilians as human shields. Let's take a listen.
This is in the middle of Tel Aviv. These are Iron Dome launchers in the middle of Tel Aviv, surrounded by residential apartment buildings. Also, the Israeli military's HQ is in the middle of Tel Aviv, surrounded by residential apartment buildings. Tell me again, how many times over the past 20 months have we heard that Hamas is using residential areas as military bases, right? Hospitals, schools, all of that. How they're embedding themselves within the civilian population, using them as human shields. How many times have we heard that? They have been using that shit as an excuse to flatten Gaza this whole time. By their standards, those targets in Tel Aviv are legitimate military targets. You can't have it both ways, right? And if you're watching all of this unfold and you're freaking out and you're going, oh, pray for Israel, but you haven't been praying for Gaza over the past 20 months, you need to ask yourself some serious fucking questions. Why is it that when you see white Israelis being subject to the same shit that Gazans have been subjected to for almost 2 years now is the time that you freak out. Now is the time that you start feeling bad. It's just straight up disgusting, and you should feel ashamed of yourselves, honestly.
I encourage everybody to please not get your information about this conflict from American media sources. Maybe not even no Western media sources, even though I feel as though the British are telling a slightly more truthful version of what's going on. But truly, you need to be, your presenters need to be brown. Okay. No disrespect to Charlie the Commie, because I appreciate, yes, please show me the fucking missile launchers of the Iron Dome next to the goddamn residential apartments, because as an American audience, as a Western audience, we need to see that, because our media is as captured as our government, okay, by the Zionist lobby, not just AIPAC, but Zionism as a whole runs America. And the sooner that all of us, and I know not my audience, Fire Fam know what the fuck time it is, but sometimes we got these wayward motherfuckers dropping in here that like to wave American flags and shit. And it's like, dog, your country's not even your country. Okay. Like your country has a boss. All right. And that boss is Zionism. And the United States is about to again entangle itself in yet another forever war with its own consent or no. But I want us to circle back for a second, because let me reiterate this. even though we're going to see it in the next clip. When I tell you that Israel getting done up right now, done up, done up. There was a rumor, unsubstantiated, unconfirmed. Let me put that out there. I can't verify this, but I'm gonna tell it to you because it smacked of plausibility. So we know that Israelis are not being allowed to leave Israel. Okay. First of all, the airport in Tel Aviv has been blasted. Okay. So ain't no flying, no fucking where. But even if you wanted to, Netanyahu said he's not letting Israelis leave. Okay. And apparently, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, everybody know who that is? Yeah, right. If you said it's probably some fuckboy, Kim Brown, you are correct. That's accurate. And this fuckboy's name is Mike Huckabee. We all know who Mike Huckabee is, right? Giant evangelical Christian. What the fuck was he the governor? Yes, he was. I think he was the governor of Arkansas. Now his dim-witted daughter is now the governor of Arkansas. And Huckabee, being evangelical, is the ambassador to Israel. So apparently Huckabee and Netanyahu got into a giant screaming match because, again, Netanyahu said, when I say nobody leaving, Huckabee, that meant no Americans. We don't give a goddamn. We need all these bodies to absorb all these missiles. We can't just be letting our human shields fly back to their country of origin, right? Oh, you want it to be Israeli? Oh, well, then y'all gonna be Israeli then. How about that? So it is a complete madness what is going on. But in spite of the seeming march to war officially being declared, I suppose, and I say, and let me clarify that statement, because, by the way, the only legal steps to a war in America supposedly is supposed to come from Congress. Only Congress can issue declarations of war. And I can't recall the last time that happened. I want to say maybe that was World War II, but it certainly was not in. Well, wait a minute. Didn't the motherfuckers did approve Desert Storm or some shit? Maybe it was in the 90s. But the point is this. There have been several U.S. presidents who have engaged in either unilateral military attacks against countries or in concert with NATO, for example. I'm thinking of the attack on Libya in 2011, in which Muammar Gaddafi was assassinated, and Libya has descended and never returned to its glory, its civilian glory that it experienced while being governed by Gaddafi, right? Afghanistan. Like, I mean, there's so many places that United States presidents have just decided that we're just going to send troops and let all the legalities and stuff fall where they may. So this is probably not going to be any different from that. But we cannot take our eye off of the genocide in Gaza, because with all the bombs flying between Tehran and Tel Aviv, the Israeli occupational forces have not stopped slaughtering Palestinians. They never took a break. These niggas never took a fucking day off. And the way that they're doing it now, as though all the previous 2 years, the methods of extermination and annihilation that the Palestinian people have experienced have that been absolutely reprehensible. What is happening now? It's like, can the devil get more devilish? How is this even possible? You have starving Palestinians who have been on the receiving end of a blockade, of a humanitarian aid blockade. There is no food. There is no water. There is no medicine. There is nothing getting into Gaza. And what is getting into Gaza is being distributed by a U.S. and Israeli foundation, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. I think on a previous show, I called it the Gaza Humanitarian Organization, but y'all knew what I was talking about. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is supposed to be giving out aid. And instead, they are murdering. Somebody is shooting at Palestinians, and we know who it is. It's the Israelis, right? So I want us to take a look at this package. This is from Channel 4, because we can't forget Gaza. I feel for the Iranians. I want them to win, but we cannot forget about what's going on in Gaza and the genocide that Benjamin Netanyahu is determined to complete in front of the world's faces. And he turned off the internet in Gaza some days ago. So anyway, I want us to look at this package. And again, content warning, trigger warning, because none of this is easy to digest or take in. But if you're a humanitarian, like if you literally care about people, if you care about yourself, for God's sakes, gang, this is why Israel might be getting the shit that it's getting now, because they never saw themselves as ever receiving what they have dished out to Palestinians. And now they are. Hard lesson to learn, but they ain't learned it yet. But Will, let's go ahead and run that package, please.
What to fear more, bullets or hunger? What to fear more, bullets or hunger? Under fire yet again, crowds of desperate Palestinians waiting in the hope of collecting food from the new Israeli-backed aid scheme. 20 people were killed here in southern Gaza by Israeli soldiers today, according to local officials. Others managed to grab something to take home to their families. As conflict and bloodshed reverberate throughout the region, Gaza remains by far the deadliest place. Victims and the injured taken to the Nasser hospital in Khan Yunis. We went there thinking we would get aid to feed our children, says this man, but it turned out to be a trap. Hundreds of people are now said to have been gunned down in repeated incidents around the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation sites in the few weeks they've been operating.
That all became a red zone.
We spoke to a British doctor in Gaza who says he's treated half a dozen victims, all apparently shot whilst lying down.
So if you've got an injury to, let's say, your left shoulder area and then going through your scalp, so that the trajectory of that has to be, so it's either you're standing up and the bullet's coming from absolutely straight down, which, vertically down, that's not realistic, or you would have to been lying down on the ground, probably with your hands out, face down, and so it glances your shoulder and then the back of your head. So if you see that's an example of the same pattern in patients, you're like, well, that's not accidental.
And tell me about some of the other cases you've been dealing with.
He's a 15-year-old boy who's in ITU. Shrapnel's gone through his spinal cord, so he's paraplegic, so nothing below his waist. And he sort of says, "Can I die, please?" And part of that is because he's got no family, so his family's all dead as well now. And you're thinking, oh, how's he going to manage in a wheelchair around Gaza in the rubble, by himself?
The missile strikes being exchanged by Israel and Iran mean the focus is no longer on Gaza, but the suffering here is as awful as it's ever been.
That's like my second or third time seeing that package, and it's not an easy thing to hear or see. And what can you say? 55,000 Palestinians confirmed dead, likely hundreds of thousands more under the rubble. And those that have survived this almost 2-year constant onslaught of bombs being dropped upon their schools, upon their hospitals, upon the refugee camps. These fuckers bomb tents. And they continue. So now Israel continues the genocide in Gaza. They have preemptively attacked civilians in Tehran. They continue to shoot rockets into Beirut, into Lebanon. Where does this end, gang? Like, where does this stop? And to be clear, like, I'm a little torn. Again, I consider myself to be somebody that cares about humanity. Can't lie that when I see rockets drop in Tel Aviv, there's a bit of schadenfreude, right? Sure, I hope innocent people don't get hurt, but I'm not sure. Because it is something very sinister about this state. And again, just for just to reset, because we might have some new folks in here that might hurl an anti-Semitism slur. No, sir. No, madam. I have no problems with people who follow the Torah, people who worship Jehovah, people who practice Judaism. A-okay in my book. I want people to follow their religions to the extent to wherever it takes them. But when we are sanctioning genocide at the risk of being called anti-Semitic, kindly suck my dick, okay? No, I'm anti-genocide. I'm anti-attacking neighboring countries just cause we felt like it, just cause we can. It is sickening. It is heartbreaking. It is nauseating to see those pictures still coming out of Gaza. And again, tens of thousands dead, likely hundreds of thousands more under the rubble. And we can't even count the number of those maimed and now permanently disabled by this war. And it seems as though very few in the world, if any, have any stomach to be willing to stop this. Now, I have heard about a rather large humanitarian flotilla reportedly coming from Malaysia. I need to get some more confirmation about that. I encourage y'all to go seek that out if possible. The convoy, or the gathering of folks by the thousands who were gathering in Egypt in the attempt to march across the Egyptian border into Gaza to bring relief and humanitarian aid, that was stopped by the Egyptian government, which is crazy work. I can only guess that the United States and Israel made sure that General al-Sisi, who is apparently not a very nice person, he's not a nice guy. He has turned Egypt itself into another different authoritarian regime that is backed by the US, et cetera, et cetera. So I can only imagine that the devils and the ghouls who are in charge in America and in Israel gave Egypt directive not to let all of these foreign nationals, literally from around the world, people came by the thousands from around the world to try to walk into Gaza and offer relief and say enough, and they were prevented from doing so. I don't know what's going to happen here, guys. I would say maybe Jesus is about to rise up and do the Messiah thing and put all this to a stop. But unfortunately, Jesus is probably getting shot down while trying to get some bread for others to feed others in Gaza, because we know Jesus was Palestinian himself, right? So poor Jesus might be under the rubble for all we know. Messiah tried to come back, but the fucking Israelis slaughtered him as part of the genocide. The irony. I don't know where this goes, guys, but I don't like it. As somebody who's opposed to genocide, and also who's someone who lives in the very close sphere of Washington, D.C., I don't want missiles flying over Tehran for the same reason I don't want missiles flying over Washington, because missiles are indiscriminate. Okay. I don't want to catch no strays because of Trump and Bibi bullshit. All right. I don't want to catch no fucking strays because of Trump and Bibi bullshit. But at the same time, nigga, could we even blame Iran if Iran decided to let the chopper sing all over the place? Now, they're not going to do that because they are strategic and not stupid, not reactionary like me. Because I'd be like, nigga, fire all these fucking missiles everywhere they land, shoot a missile. Hit that U.S. base in Bahrain, in UAE, in this place, in that place. But no, Iran seems to be more strategic than that. But hopefully, we can manufacture consent in our own direction, okay? Shout out to Red is Ari, the young sister who's an activist here in D.C. She's been on this show long time ago. But anyway, I follow her on TikTok, and I happened to catch one of her videos this afternoon, and she was talking about She said they wouldn't work so hard to manufacture your consent if they didn't need it. And she used the example of the Iraq war, of which I remember quite clearly, especially during the W. Bush years, because it sounded, again, when did the Iraq war happen? 9/11 happened in 01. I guess we invaded, I keep saying we, the United States invaded Iraq in 2002, 2003, somewhere in there. And I was a young little whippersnapper in my early 20s, and I was at a good number of those protests, the Not in Our Name protests, all of that in DC. People came out by the hundreds of thousands. It was an incredible mobilization, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to stop what inevitably happened. But I want to look on the sunny side of things, right? I'm trying to share Red is Ari's optimism here. Like, we have to push back against this march, this drumbeat to war with Iran. Gen Xers, millennials, Gen Zers, Gen Alphas. How many more decades of our lives are we going to witness America just in perpetual war? And our parents and grandparents and great grandparents, in some of y'all's cases, have seen exactly that. When does this stop? Like, when can we say enough? When can we say that we're not going to spend this country's resources in simply war and death and destruction? Well, we have to come to the obvious but painful for some realization that this is the United States. We don't spread democracy, we spread death. We don't spread liberty. We spread missiles. We spread a contagion of war. This is our specialty. We don't spread fuck all else. Okay, this is America. This is not a democracy. And if you don't believe me about how we're not a democracy, go look in Los Angeles right now, where the U.S. Marines have been deployed on the streets of America's second largest city, detaining and harassing and literally terrorizing civilians who have, in this case, the unfortunate sin of being brown. Okay, brown and Spanish speaking by and large, not exclusively though, because we never want to forget African folks, Caribbean folks that are also being swept up in these ICE raids. And it is horrific. So what can we do? Well, we can hope somebody got better aim than Tommy. Ain't no such things as halfway. You know who I'm talking about. I don't see how else this ends. Like, somebody has got to eat it. Okay, somebody has got to nah. I can't say that. I can't say what I want to say, and y'all know exactly where I'm going. Like, choppers must sing on some of these fucking idiots, because I don't know how else this ends. I do not know how else this ends. Thousands of people try to use their bodies as shields to protect the Palestinians, and yet the Egyptian government prevented them from doing so. A handful of activists tried to flotilla some aid into Gaza, and Israel committed yet another war crime and boarded a boat and kidnapped its occupants in waters that they had no business being in, right? Children continued to be slaughtered. Yet another sovereign country has had its sovereignty violated. Like, where does this end? Like, here we are only 6 months into Trump 2. We got 3.5 years to go. Where does this end? I want to send continued, God damn, I not just solidarity and love and prayers for the Palestinians, for the Lebanese, and now for the Iranians. Big up to the Yemenis already. Like, Jesus Christ! But now I have to be praying for death to their fucking enemies. And guess what? Their enemies are our enemies. So maybe I've been asking for the wrong thing. I've been asking for peace in Gaza. Maybe I need to be praying for hellfire in Israel. Like, I don't like what is the right prayer here? What is the right ask? What is the right demand? What is the right way to resist? Not the right, and I don't mean like the accepted protocol, decorum way. What is the right way to demand? But I mean, how can we demand with I was about to say with blood. How can we demand with blood though, y'all? Because everything that they're doing to Palestine and to Iran, they are itching to do that to us. Itching to do it to us. They're proving it in LA for the past 2 weeks now. These motherfuckers can't wait to start shooting live rounds at abuelitas going to the fucking taco truck. I saw some video from Los Angeles. There's a club. I'm not sure what part of town it's in, but it's a big hangout for Nigerians. The name of the club is called Lagos or Lagos. And the sister who lived in the apartment building across the street from the club showed ICE swarming the exterior of this club, waiting for the Nigerians, waiting for the African club goers to come outside. Why? So they could round them up and ship them into concentration camps. Where does this end? I understand that maybe calling and writing, calling your congressperson, blah, blah, blah. That shit might be an exercise in futility. Though I did take some moments. Did I tell y'all this last week? The only one I forgot to call was my congressman, Glenn Ivey, but I called both my senators, Chris Holland, punk ass. Don't let Chris Holland fool you out here, okay? Don't let Chris Van Hollen fool you into thinking that he's good white folks out here. Yeah, he went down there to go try to get Kilmar Abrego Garcia back from El Salvador. Kilmar Abrego Garcia back from El Salvador, but still in a very fucked up situation. But make no mistake, Chris Van Hollen voted for all of this. Like, he voted to continue to send arms and munitions to Israel. Like, he has likely voted in lockstep with the Zionist state probably every chance that he's gotten. While she was running to become Maryland's first Black senator, Angela Also Brooks, in a debate across from the Republican candidate Larry Hogan, firmly proclaimed that Israel has a right to defend itself. And when I called both of my senators' offices and left them voice messages, because nobody answered the phone, like nobody was answering the phone at Senator Van Hollen and Senator Also Brooks's Washington offices. They I guess they had already gotten earfuls, but that's okay. I used all my time on the voicemail. Didn't cuss them. Good for me. Pat my own self on the back. Didn't cuss my senators, even though they deserved a cussing. But I told them, I said, is this what you wanted? Israel has a right to defend itself, huh? Does Iran have a right to defend itself? Are you bastards about to authorize Donald Trump to give him the green light to take bomb strikes against Iran? Is this how we fight for freedom? Is it whose freedom is being fought for here? What's the lie they're going to tell us? Oh, that's right. Iran can't have a nuclear bomb, can't enrich uranium. Why not? Clearly they need it. The fuck? How else is Iran going to get you fucking bitch ass niggas off of its fucking back if it doesn't have a nuclear weapon? I hope Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso gets a goddamn nuclear weapon. Like, nuclear weapons keep the suckers away. Don't believe me? Ask Russia. Don't believe me? Ask Pakistan. You know what I'm saying? Like, the nukes keep the suckers away. I'm not opposed to Iran having nukes. Iran's got haters out here, nigga. Iran needs yappas. And who knows? Wait till it gets to the point where you can't even say shit like that on the fucking internet, lest the goddamn FBI come knocking at your door, talking some fucking anti-American bullshit. Allegedly, under the Constitution, we can say whatever the fuck we want. Allegedly, we can even go out here and burn American flags as an expression of our freedom of speech. But here's the thing, guys. All the pretense about American jurisprudence, about we are a country of laws, that shit is out the goddamn window. That's yesterday. Not to say it ever really applied to Black folks and brown folks to begin with, but whites, guess what? It's over. It's done. Lawlessness is the rule of the land, and the lawlessness is being driven by the state. So how is it that the state gets to break all the laws and what? We're supposed to comply? What? Oh, we're supposed to adhere to the rule of order? Why would we do that? Where's the incentive to do that? I want to send love going out to the people of Los Angeles. And let me echo a sentiment that I saw repeated. Oh, that I didn't see repeated, that I saw spoken, and let me repeat it. Where the gangs at, shorty? I'm talking about them gangs. I'm talking about what my California folks, where they at? And trust me, this isn't no call out gangs. I do not want smoke. I personally don't want to smoke, but I'm wondering, where is y'all smoke? Fine, if the B's and the C's want to sit this one out, where's mi gente gangs, dog? Like where is it? Where are the Asian boys at? Like where's the fucking Latin kid? Like nigga, are y'all just watching these motherfuckers snatch up your abuelitas off the street? You watching your civilians, your civilian family, your civilian homeboys, your civilian neighbors, you know, the ones that's not in the organizations. Y'all just watching them get took? Are y'all strategizing somewhere? Please say yes. Because and I understand that's probably what Trump and them want to happen, but we are witnessing mass kidnappings, gang. We're witnessing people being taken to concentration camps and being deported to parts unfucking known. Not everybody is being sent back to their home country. Some people, you guys, there's a story, and maybe we'll do this on a Remix Morning Show. It's a story that I think I saw Democracy Now! Cover maybe a week or so ago. But there's a literal shipping container of not only people who have been deported from the United States, but ICE agents who were mandated to travel with these folks. They have been stuck in Djibouti. That's not a joke. Djibouti's in the Horn of Africa and East Africa. And there are deportees from Laos, from Cambodia, from Cuba, from Vietnam, people who have been deported and they are not from Djibouti, and yet they are stuck in Djibouti. And it's a madness that people are being sent to places that are not even their home country, okay? There is no more law anymore. So what incentive do we have to obey the law? Get off YouTube, get off Twitch, get off TikTok. If you about that action, if you about that life, it's time for you to go underground and find the underground orgs and try to figure out a way to respond, because this is only going to accelerate, not just here domestically in the US, but it is going to accelerate across the globe. I feel as though Iran is ready for whatever the US and Israel have to bring, whatever they have to bear. I feel as though Iran has been many decades preparing for exactly this. We are not prepared. But lucky for us, the GANGS got the pew-pewers. I don't mean the actual handheld things. I'm talking about the people behind the handheld things, okay? So if you want some, I don't mean to call it gang bullshit, but let me call it gang bullshit. If y'all fighting over fucking territory or over houses and neighborhoods that you don't own, and you ready to let Yappa sing at motherfuckers that look exactly like you or are in a similar situation as you, meaning that if you are, let's say, in a brown gang and you got beef with the black gang, the black gang is not your enemy. The Asian gang is not your enemy. Your enemy right now is in fatigues, armed, walking around, trying to assist ICE do deportations. How much longer is this going to be allowed to run before the proper response gets? I'm going to take a break before the feds come to my house. And they probably will. And fuck them. You know why, gang? Because even though I don't have no kids, Shorty, my nibblings, like my little nephews and stuff, like they are not going to be able to say when they get to be men that Auntie KB did not say what needed to be said. Okay. And I encourage you tomorrow, please tune in to Black Liberation Media, the Remix Morning Show, where the real news gets disseminated on Wednesdays, of course, with Ricky Ryan and Jacqueline Lukman. I see a text here from Jackie. I wonder if Jackie's joining. But regardless, um, they're going to be breaking it down tomorrow. So please tune in tomorrow, Remix Morning Show, 8 a.m. on Black Liberation Media. Thanks, y'all. Who's in here? We got all kinds of youngins in here. Oh, well, do we have any? Did anyone send forth any money?
Twice thrust they did. Nah, ZZ Lion, shout out to you,
Hey.
ZZ Lion Dad. He said, or they said, honor, respect, peace, Sister Kim Brown, class of the 9-6. Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Pause that real quick,
Yeah,
Will.
yeah,
Can I tell you how ZZ Lion Dad did me dirty?
He did.
Let me tell you. I'm about to tell you. So we out at Indianapolis. Shout out to ZZ Lion Dad, by the way. You know I'm just playing with you. But ZZ Lion Dad, he said the class of 96 for a reason. I graduated class of 96, and so did he. Guess what? Guess what ZZ Lion Dad called me to my face, Will?
He said, Auntie.
He did. I said, nigga. I said, nigga. How am I your auntie? And we graduated the same year.
The same age, bro.
The disrespect. And I said, whoa.
Yo. How did I know? How did I know?
I said, ZZ Lion Dad, I thought we was folk. I
Auntie.
thought you was my boy.
He said 9-6, Auntie. You are not. He said you just in the class of 9-6. That's all.
Nigga, but I can't possibly be your auntie if we were graduated the same year.
He was just calling you mature, Kim. Just take it as a compliment.
How another nigga my age gonna call me mature though? Son? This is what I can't. You understand the level of confusion I was in. I'm like, what, nigga? What?
Yo, I'm crying. All right. Hold on. He got a rebuttal too. Hold on. Let me read. Wendell Scott. So, Wendell Scott said we are at a disadvantage because of the control and the influence of AIPAC and the monetary support primarily given to the U.S. by the U.S. and the Southern Bible Belt. If we are smarter, we would divest in Israeli products.
Accurate. Follow the BDS boycott, divest, sanctions movement. It is working. Like Israel, and that's the thing, gang. Just real quick, like Israel is a bit in shambles, but the Western media doesn't tell us this. The legacy mainstream media outlets in this country don't tell us. Like Israel is down bad out here, believe it or not. Like, and the only reason they are still in existence, literally, is because of the assistance and the propping up that the U.S. government does. And by the way, I know you all know this, but Israelis get free healthcare, free education. They get all the free things financed and subsidized by who? Me and you, who do not get free healthcare, who do not get free education. And these are just more reasons for us to burn this fucking thing down. Thank you so much, Wendell Scott. Appreciate your comment and your support.
Yes. We have, well, the numbers are fluctuating now, but we had close to almost 300 people.
Nigga, what?
Live. Yep. Almost 300 people live. So ZZ Lion Dad came back. We got the whole, it's a TikTok now. This is the response. You got another response. It's a TikTok. All right. It says gang are a product of the state. They only exist because the states let them. They're an extension of the police and racketeering to manufacture the laws, create division amongst workers, like in jail.
I agree and disagree in some ways. I think that gangs can be a product of the state, or a byproduct of the state. At the same time, I think if we could reach the young brothers and tell them to redirect their guns, I don't want to put the guns down, nigga. Just point them shits at a different target. Right. Like, don't put anyway, because you know why, y'all. I hope this moment is more clarifying as to why we literally. I think for Black people to call for guns to go away is foolishness. It is folly because our enemies are goddamn armed. So imagine we turn over all of our guns to the fucking state so they have the monopoly on guns. So how do we defend ourselves? I think we need more guns. Okay. Like everyone, if you don't have a gun, I think you should go get one. 2, if you can afford it. Anyway, that's just my take. I'm pro Second Amendment out this bitch. That's a very unhot take in some corners of our side of the internet. I am not anti-gun. It'd be foolishness for Black people specifically and Latinos and indigenous people to disarm. We just got to convince the shooters in our community to point them guns in a different direction. That's it.
Political education, beloved. That's what that is.
Talk to him, Will.
So definitely shout out to you, ZZ Lion Dad, for sure, for the super chat. Black Brew, BLK Brew, thank you for your super chat. And Latif, he playing with you. He said, "Hey, Auntie, with all of the whys that you can think of." Latif, play that back. Run that. Press a back on the YouTube and look at that face that you got.
Let me explain something. Let me explain. Can't nobody born in the 70s fix your face to call me auntie, okay? If you were born in the 70s, I am absolutely not your auntie. Absolutely not your auntie. I am your sis. Sis.
You over there like at best. That's it.
I'm not gonna lie. I fucks with ZZ Lion Dad. ZZ Lion Dad is a ride or die. ZZ Lion Dad been rocking with the team for a long time. I'm not gonna. I did feel a kind of way though. Did feel a kind of way. This nigga called me auntie with a straight face. Whoa.
It's okay, ZZ Lion. It's some Leo. It's a little bit of Leo too. It's a little bit of Leo. It's a little like, damn, for real. And it's like,
I thought I was cute and jazzy out here. Oh, my bad. I'm menopause, perimenopause auntie for real. Oh, okay, my bad. Let me go get my clogs then. What else? What do the aunties be wearing? I need a muumuu. What do I need, Will?
Glasses with the chain on them.
Oh, go on.
Get one of those. A wig for outside.
Oh, not an outside wig.
Gotta get an outside wig.
Put it on like a hat. Let me put my hat on before I go out.
Gotta check the mail. I mean, the mail gotta get checked, right?
Hey, okay. I don't know. Maybe I should go hard. Like my granny and her friends. Like my grandmother had gold teeth. Nigga, I didn't realize that my grandmother was a gangster. I mean, because think about it, like when elder Black women have gold teeth, I'm like, oh, you probably used to cut people when you was younger, didn't you?
Especially if 1, 2, maybe 2 together.
No, my grandmother had she had the open face golds, nigga. That is some different shit. That's that St. Louis. And she not from St. She was from Arkansas. But when I went to St. Louis, I saw the chicks with the open face golds. I said my granny used to have an open face gold. Okay, y'all cut out, y'all slice bitches out here. Got it. That's the sign. Anyway,
I respect it.
You just got to. Got to. Thank you, Will.
But we got a lot of people in the chat. Y'all hit that like. Hit that subscribe, and you definitely got the trolls in here.
Hey trolls, hey trolls, hi.
As long as they don't get too ridiculous, stick to the topic.
Listen, trolls. I don't. What side are they trolling for? Are they Are these Zio trolls or what? Who are they?
Zion, yeah.
Oh,
Israeli, are y'all in Tel Aviv? This, U.S. This like
U.S. What?
What was what I saw? One was like, y'all loving the government. It's like. That's not the point. We're not loving the government. We don't never love the government. We love the people that's fighting for freedom and shit. That's what we doing. We like, y'all like pro. We not pro until they prove themselves to be pro. We not, then we pro. But other than that, no, we not. We pro people.
We are absolutely
for the person that said that.
Listen, thank you so much. Listen, I am absolutely pro people. I am absolutely here for sovereign states to keep the suckers up off of them. And I'm so sorry to that man or person, whoever in the chat seems to think that the United States and Israel aren't some fucking suckers. Let me tell you something. When you bomb a hospital, you are soft as scrotum skin. Do you understand that? When you bomb a school, when you bomb a refugee encampment of people living in tents, that is not bravery. That is the height of cowardice. That is also a demoniac, right? You are that is demon shit. Do you get that? Ziobots, whatever the fuck you are you coming to us tonight from Tel Aviv? You might want to get into your safe house, okay? Because Iran likes to let them choppers sing about between 2 and 4 a.m. And sorry to those people, but there was a report of a strike that exactly hit a safe house in or around Tel Aviv, and everybody that was in their little safe room, unfortunately, has gone on to glory. So, maybe try to do better, and people won't be trying to, let me calm down. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. Let me pull up my document so I know where I'm going next, even though I do have a great idea where I am going next. Because here on Burn It Down with Kim Brown, where we set oppression ablaze, we do this twice a week. There's probably more oppression that could be burned more than twice a week. But for now, Tuesdays, Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment, join the chat. Do whatever you may do. So the other big news coming out of Trump's military dick parade weekend was the political assassination of one Minnesota state lawmaker who happened to be the speaker or former speaker, a very respected individual. She and her husband were killed. 2 other people were also shot and injured by one person, allegedly. Vance Bolter. Me and Ear Doctor had difficulty with this man's name earlier today. Ear Doctor said, let's just call him by his first and middle name, Vance Luther. I said, no. Vance Luther, people might mistake him for a Negro, and he was not a Negro, okay? There was a legit cracker-ass cracker, who shot 4 people, killed 2. 2 of the people shot were Minnesota lawmakers. And the other 2 people shot, 1 killed, were the spouses of these folks. Now, apparently this man, Vance Bolter, who was on the lam for about 2 days, which was crazy to hear, right? Considering that the police pulled up, looked at this man in his fucking face, and this man managed to get away, which is incredible. And perfect example of how the cops ain't shit. I want us to look at this press conference, by the way, and I felt a bit of a disadvantage because I didn't catch this incident on the socials immediately when it happened. Because what I've learned over the years is that sometimes the immediate reports that come out after something crazy has happened in America, right? The immediate reports will sometimes include details that you don't hear again, right? Because the police start to tailor and craft the narrative. So they start to curate the things, they start to edit. They're like, oh, well, we can't include that in the second and third and fourth version of this event when we represent it. But sometimes shit will slip out in that first initial reporting. And I want us to go to the eve or the day after that Vance Bolter decided to undertake these political assassinations in Minnesota. And I want y'all to listen to how the Brooklyn Park, Minnesota police. Is my niece Alicia in here? Niece, tell me the name of the gentleman, the young man who Brooklyn Park police, that stupid fucking see you next Tuesday of a cop who shot that young man in the head for driving off from a traffic stop. I believe that happened in Brooklyn Park. And we all know that Minneapolis, the greater Minneapolis area, well, Minneapolis is where George Floyd was murdered. And not just George Floyd, many others. So it's amazing to me that a murderous white man can be confronted by police and manage to get away. Hold on. Shocker, no shocker. Let's go to the police chief or the spokesperson for the police at the time when Vance was still on the lam, when they had not yet apprehended him. He has been caught, is facing numerous charges, was given a $5 million bond, which sounds like craziness to me. But what else? We'll get to that in a second. But let's run the clip from the cop press conference and just listen to how ineffective, dare I say pussy, even though I hate to refer to cops as pussy. You know why? Because pussy is strong, okay? These cops, soft as scrotum skin, let's call it accurately, looked at the killer in the face and somehow he managed to get away. Let's take a listen.
Belter approached Representative Portman's home, again dressed as a police officer, wearing the tactical vest and body armor, and wearing that hyper-realistic mask. He was armed and carrying a flashlight. Before he entered the home, 2 Brooklyn Park police officers arrived at the scene. They too had been dispatched to check on Representative Portman after learning of the shooting of Senator Hoffman. When they arrived at the scene, they saw Belter's black SUV parked in the driveway with the emergency lights flashing, and they saw Belter standing in front of the house several feet from the door. When Belter saw the officers get out of the car, he drew his weapon and began firing. He rushed into the house through the front door, firing into it. He repeatedly fired into the house, and when he entered, he murdered Representative Portman and her husband, Mark. The Brooklyn Park police officers fired at Belter as he rushed into the home, but he escaped into the home and out the back. Officers recovered Belter's 9mm Beretta, along with the body armor and the mask, behind the home along his path of flight when he fled on foot. They later searched Belter's car, where they found 5 more firearms, including assault-style rifles and a large quantity of ammunition. Belter also had in his car notebooks containing a list of more than 45 Minnesota state and federal elected officials, including Representative Portman. Now, Belter planned his attack carefully. He researched his victims and their families. He used the internet and other tools to find their addresses and names, the names of their family members. He conducted surveillance of their homes and took notes about the location of their homes. He also prepared in other ways. He concealed himself as a police officer, outfitting his black SUV with police lights and a police license plate, wearing a black tactical vest and body armor, carrying a police flashlight and a handgun. And of course he wore that hyper-realistic silicone mask as seen on the surveillance videos. The video of his arrival and shooting of Senator Hoffman is truly chilling. Again, it's no exaggeration to say this is the stuff of nightmares.
Wow. Vance Belter sounded like he was an ICE agent, right? He had on all the gear. He had on he had on a mask. He was armed. He could have been stopping and frisking regular ass people on the street to terrorize them, to harass them, to kidnap them, to rape or kill them. But this time, he decided to target these elected officials. Now, again, as a human, I'm very sorry that these people had such an unfortunate end. And it obviously has been confirmed that Vance Belter is a Republican, voted for Trump, pro-MAGA, all the things. And all right, that to me, that's no gotcha, because we all know who are the real drivers of domestic terrorism in this country are, and they are usually white nationalists. And I'm sure this man held some sort of white nationalist view some sort of misogynistic view, some, I hate Democrats, I hate the libs, blah, 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 all that shit. All right, that's fine. I want to focus instead on the response of the police, because we keep telling y'all that cops ain't shit. Okay. And this is also the reason why many are legitimately horrified at ICE tactics of approaching, harassing, abusing people while masked, while not in uniform, while not being easily identifiable. We don't know who is marauding under those masks. We don't know if they're actual federal agents. We don't know if it's some fucking dipshit who has been secretly deputized and turned loose and unleashed on the regular ass people of this country. But this fucking guy, all this guy had to do was what, y'all? Be white. he had to outfit his little vehicle with some little flasher lights and get a reasonable facsimile of a police uniform, and that was it. The Brooklyn Park Police didn't think that he was anything else but one of theirs. And I even believe, and I wasn't able to find this, though I did heard it, but verify this on your own. But from what I understand, he had also had another encounter with a different jurisdiction of police that same night, because I guess the local police were alerted that there was danger, there was a threat, active threat against these lawmakers and I guess some of these other folks that were on his list, so that he was actually seen by another officer and allowed to leave a separate location. But verify that for yourself. But at least referring to what the spokesperson just told us here, Brooklyn Park Police looked at this man dead in the face. He shot at them. These motherfuckers returned fire, but couldn't shoot straight enough to shoot him before he entered the home of the elected official, murdered her and her husband, and was allowed to escape. Can I tell you how cops ain't shit? Cops can't even keep the important people safe, let alone regular people, let alone people that they view as lower on the social hierarchy than white elected officials, right? And I'll tell you why these Brooklyn Park police couldn't process it in their head quick enough what was actually happening. Because whiteness is the best disguise. Listen, this motherfucker's uniform, I don't give a fuck how good it was, and I'm actually inclined to think it wasn't all that good. I'm inclined to think that these cops was just dumb as shit and couldn't spot a real from a phony. I mean, policing is a split-second decision. Cops make split-second decisions, life and death. Okay, well, y'all made that decision late, bitch. the fucking state representative and her husband got murdered literally on your watch. Literally on your watch. You watched him do it. And after you watched him do it, cops, you couldn't stop the motherfucker. Yeah, no one went through the back. I thought the police, when they showed up, somebody's supposed to cover the rear. Ain't somebody supposed to cover the fucking rear? How'd the fucking killer get away? How'd the killer get away? I know how, because cops ain't shit. That's how. That is how. How much money is allotted to the Brooklyn Park Police Department? I'm guessing more than that's allotted for the fire department. I bet you the Brooklyn Park Police in Minnesota get the lion's share of their city's budgetary funds. And yet and still, they could not stop a would-be serial killer, right? Because Vance didn't know that he did not kill the first two people he shot, right? He that was his intent, to murder. He thought he did kill him. He didn't. Vance was trying to go 4 for 4. He went 2 for 4. That's still batting 500, nigga. That's still pretty accurate. And the cops couldn't do fuck all. And they didn't get him that night. They didn't get him the next night. And in fact, when they did catch up with Vance got caught on the trail cam in the woods out there in Green Isle, Minnesota, right? This nigga went home. He went the fuck home. He went home, went in the woods. They seen him go in the woods. Couldn't get him then. But when they did catch up with him, he was apprehended, uninjured, unshot, and issued a bond. According to, what was I watching this morning? Maybe it was NBC4 Washington. Let me attribute that because, again, that was reported by a different outlet. I did not verify that independently. So in case NBC4 got the shit wrong, which they may have, let me tell you where I got it from. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? This man killed 2, shot 4, and got a bond. So you're telling me that if Vance Belter, if he has $5 million, he could walk out of jail. Crazy work. Crazy work. And this is America, everybody. America doesn't even realize who its actual enemies are. Who are the ones actually trying to destabilize this society? Who are the ones committing political assassinations? Who are the ones running up in this nation's institutions and literally causing havoc, and not in a righteous way? I support all the Free Palestine encampments. I support all of that because you know why? Because those people are shutting down buildings, shutting down streets and highways in order to prevent bombs from being dropped on children. What was the righteous reason that Vance Belter decided to murder and shoot these elected officials? Because he didn't agree with them? Because what? He thought that's some shit Trump would be for? Oh, maybe Vance is actually quite happy that I think he was charged federally. All these fucking white nationalists are happy to be charged federally because they hope that Trump will issue them a pardon. And to be clear, that's not beyond the realm of possibility. Trump is a nut. Why wouldn't he murder somebody or somebodies that he perceives to be his political enemies simply by them being Democrats? And for the new folks here, for the trolls here, just to be clear, in case y'all didn't know, this is not a pro-Democratic Party channel. A pox on both their houses, okay? But, you know, I don't think elected officials should be, I don't think anybody. Well, let me walk that back. But I disagree, let's say, with this type of political violence. And I'm not opposed to political violence. I'm not opposed to the whole of the spectrum of political violence. But I do oppose this. I do, because I don't really understand, or kind of don't care, what his reasons for doing this were. There's not a good reason, really. And thinking about like what this means to the folks that are right now experiencing varying levels of domestic terrorism, from those that are either posing as Customs and Border Patrol agents or as ICE agents or as Homeland Security, because we don't know. That is the scary part about this kind of political violence. Like, these motherfuckers are dressing up, like they are cosplaying law enforcement, allowing them access to arms, allowing them the unfettered ability to violate people's constitutional and civil rights. And in this case, for this guy, to literally shoot and unalive people simply because he was dressed as a police officer. And the other officers did not even have the confidence or the wherewithal to stop him. They certainly didn't have the ability to stop him. How the fuck is the killer nicer with the pistol than the fucking cops? And though I'm not exactly sure what it is, there is something additional to this man's story. There is something very strange and very weird about this guy, about his life. I keep seeing the clips of his goofy ass friend, his homeboy, that's his roommate that he's known since the 4th grade. But somehow Vance is married with several children, but doesn't live with his family. I'm confused. Like, what? He's doing Three's Company with him and his two homies. They're what? Are y'all a throuple? Like, do you get to live in your throuple Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday you got to go home to the wife and kids so you can go to church on a Sunday? What? I don't understand. I'm deep in confusion, but I'm sure some things will be revealed. But to be clear, gang, the cops don't keep anybody safe. And let this be yet another shining example of that. Like, even the so-called VIPs, even the so-called somewhat important people, I mean, to the extent we can argue that elected officials are important in the social hierarchy, some would probably disagree. But regardless, this is the kind of this type of political violence is definitely sanctioned and endorsed by the right? This doesn't freak them out. This doesn't bother them. This doesn't concern them. When Trump gets shot at, then oh, the deranged left. And by the way, for conservatives, who y'all call the left is actually not the left. Y'all think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the left. She is not. Y'all think Bernie Sanders is the left. No. Y'all don't even know who the left is. Wow. But it turns out it wasn't the left. It was the right. And that's usually who it is. Cops ain't shit. Can't even stop the fucking serial killer when he's right there in your face. So there's another cops ain't shit story that I want to update you on. And this is the shit that kills me. Like, it's amazing how white men can commit terrible crimes and they are able to escape. And even when they are apprehended unharmed, unshot, unbeat up. You know, all of their rights are being respected and afforded to them. The story that came out of Washington State in late May of the tragic story of a father who killed his 3 young daughters. Travis Decker was, or is rather, a U.S. military veteran. He and his wife are separated or divorced, but Travis was allowed visitation with his 3 daughters. I believe their names are Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. They were aged 9, 8, and 5. And the last weekend in May, I believe, the girls were allowed to go with their father for a scheduled, I believe, supervised visit or something about that, because there's a lot there also. That Travis is a former veteran, alleged to have mental health issues, alleged to not be housing secure. And yet the wife allowed the children to go with him because she wants her daughters to have a relationship with their father. Totally understandable. But when the children failed to reappear and Travis failed to bring them back at the appointed time, the mother grew quite concerned. Justifiably so, it turns out. And the police, cops ain't shit, even though cops ain't shit a couple different ways in this story. The mother wanted to have an Amber Alert issued because she was concerned about the safety of the children, but the police balked. They hesitated. They delayed issuing an Amber Alert for the girls because, according to them, it didn't meet the threshold of the Amber Alert criteria. And I wonder what that threshold is, by the way. I would love to know what the actual justification was for the police to delay this Amber Alert. But anyway, on June 2nd, unfortunately, the bodies of all 3 girls were discovered. They had been asphyxiated to death. Their hands were zip tied. And I could only imagine what was going through the heads of those little girls. And this is another tragic instant of femicide, right? I don't know if Travis would have unalived his 3 sons, but that's a discussion for another day. Here's the wild part, gang. They knew it was Travis. No doubt it was Travis. Okay. And here we are more than 2 weeks later. Today is June 17th. As of June 17th, they haven't caught up with Travis. Travis is still on the lam. How was that possible? I want us to run this package because the bravado and the audacity of these fucking cops to say that, oh, we're going to get him soon. Oh, Travis, you better be on your P's and Q's, Travis, because we're coming for you. We didn't get you today, but we're probably going to get you tomorrow. Let's go ahead and run the clip, Will. Thank you.
After days of boots on the ground searching and aerial sweeps over the rugged wilderness, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office is taking a new approach.
You will not see the amount of resources that we have had out there, but you are seeing a different element of our approach as we continue to track down Travis following leads.
Sheriff Morrison says his department will focus on preparing a case against Decker that will be ready to go when he is found, while allowing U.S. Border Patrol to take the lead on field operations to locate him. But officials say the mission is far from over.
All we need is one mistake and one day to go in our favor, and he's going to be in our custody. So I hope he's watching. I hope he knows that we haven't given up, but you got to be perfect every single day, Travis.
Is he talking to Travis like that's his nigga, like that's his homie, like Travis, Trav, check your DMs, Trav, we coming for you. What? So there is a literal triple homicide child killer on the run. The victims are his own daughters, and he's been out there for 2 weeks, and y'all motherfuckers ain't got his ass yet. But every taco vendor in Los Angeles, every construction worker in Langley Park, Maryland, like people who are minding their own fucking business as immigrants in this nation are terrorized to go to work, terrorized to take their children to school, terrorized to attend their kids' graduation. And y'all can catch up with all of them, but y'all can't catch an actual fucking killer of kids? Burn this entire fucking thing to the fucking ground. There's no way in the world, and I can be wrong, but I don't think so. If Travis was anything else but a white man, they would have redeployed the fucking Marines to go get his ass. Or maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. Because I know that the lives of girls and women are worth dramatically less in this country, right? Like femicide, women and girls being murdered for simply being women and girls, that is just an unfortunate aspect of American life that all us bitches just better accept. Okay, like men have a right to kill us, our partners have a right to kill us, our co-workers have a right to kill us, our fathers have a right to kill us. I guess that's just a God-given right to men that if certain men choose to accept the mission of femicide, it will be given to them. And they'll have the opportunity to either plead their case or never face justice. And it is so gross and disgusting to see that cop, that sheriff, talk with his chest out. Travis has to be perfect every day. We only have to be perfect one day. Fuck you. Who knows whether or not he's killed others since then? He may have, and they probably wouldn't even report it because, again, this makes the cops look feckless. It makes them look like imbeciles. They have the whole weight of the state legal apparatus, including Customs and Border Patrol, right? But because it's been more than 2 weeks and they have not been able to catch the triple child killer, well, they've got to scale back some of those operations. You know what I'm saying? Now they've got to wind that back. I mean, guys, he's already killed 3. You think he's going to kill more? Man. Trump said we have to redeploy our border patrol resources back to Seattle and back to Spokane and Tacoma to make sure that we're getting the taco vendors, to make sure we're getting the Home Depot workers, right? Like endless amounts of resources will be used in it to further this racist state policy endeavor. But to actually get for real killer, to get an actual killer of little white girls, well, we're going to have to scale that operation back because this white man is just too good. Oh, he's too well trained. He can live on the land. He's a survivalist. He's former military. Like they're bigging up this motherfucker. Every report I hear, like, oh, he's so goddamn smart in the woods. He's a hard time keeping up with him. Well, I guess he's smarter than fucking y'all then. You understand? Like, why do we spend so much on law enforcement when they don't even keep people safe? Because cops ain't shit. The whole legal law enforcement apparatus is bogus and bullshit. And I hate that people keep getting fear-mongered into approving more and more funds, more and more resources to go towards these organizations. Because what do they really do? Customs and Border Patrol, Homeland Security, and ICE are domestic terrorist organizations. And while they are hunting down people who are not committing crimes, and to be clear, simply being undocumented and being in America, it's not a criminal offense. If you think it's a crime, please point to the statute, please and thank you. It's not a crime. It's a ticket. It's a summons. It's a notice to appear in court. Okay? But Travis Decker, killer of his own children, this motherfucker's like MacGyver, man. You can't expect $20 million in law enforcement assets to catch him. This motherfucker, super cracker. You understand? Cops ain't shit. We want to send our deepest condolences to Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia's mother, and to their family, and to their friends, to the people that love and are missing them. It is heartbreaking to see any child murdered. And especially heartbreaking to know that their own father is the one that took them away. But it is infuriating to see that the triple child killer is somehow better equipped to evade law enforcement than law enforcement is equipped to capture him. And they're not seemingly going to capture him anytime soon because their priorities have now shifted. So if you're in Washington State, please be careful because there's a triple child killer on the loose that the police have now designated that they are going to draw down some of their resources to find him because, he's just too good. Let me move on. And this is my next thing is not even really a story. What do we have here? Thanks, gang. Appreciate you guys being here. Like the video and shit. So, Trump. Trump has taken us down dark, dark paths. And some folks who tragically still believe in the two-party system are counting down the days until the midterm election. Hell, they're even counting down the days until the 2028 presidential election because, whew, it's a good thing we made it to 2028, gang, guys. Now we can get someone with some sense into the Oval Office. I am being sarcastic and facetious because I'm not convinced we're making it to 2028. And even if we do, who in the fuck are the Democrats going to put up here? Who's going to get it? I know many, especially many MSNBC viewers and people who root for these different parties as though you were rooting for your favorite NBA or NFL team, in shit that is just such a goofy way to approach engaging or viewing this entire system. But in addition to California Governor Gavin Newsom being floated as a potential name to be the Democratic presidential nominee for 2028, don't forget about Maryland Governor Wes Moore. I don't like Wes Moore, gang. I live in Maryland and I don't like this guy. I don't trust him. There is something deeply untrustworthy about this man. In addition to the fact that he has no hair on his face, weird. By the way, for our non-black folks, in case you don't know this, I know most black people do know this, but you cannot trust black men, especially with no hair on their face, no beard, no mustache. Like, don't trust them. Don't. It is something deeply untrustworthy about a 100% hair-free face on a black man. No, we don't subscribe to that. But Wes Moore has a number of other troubling, in my opinion, disqualifying things about his past. Number one, I'm not convinced he's from Maryland. Sure, he may have been born here. He wasn't raised here. Nobody went to high school with him. Nobody went to prom with him. I think when he and his wife were courting each other before they were married, I don't even think they went on any fucking dates in the state of Maryland. These niggas don't talk about going to the harbor. These motherfuckers don't talk about going to Dave and Buster's. These niggas don't talk about doing fuck all in the state of Maryland. And all of a sudden, this clean-faced, light-skinned Negro pops up out of nowhere with the endorsement of Oprah and Obama, and having never previously held any elected office out of the fucking blue, he is the governor. What? And I think not only is Wesley a plant, but he is definitely an op. And how do I know he's an op? Well, I don't know it for a fact. In my opinion, he is an op. But the fact that he is such a proud veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces, nigga, tell me you are a CIA asset without telling me you are a fucking CIA asset. And in addition to the Trump military parade, it was the 250th birthday of the United States Army. And Wesley is an Army veteran. And Wesley posted this video. And I just want to remind you guys, we won't get food again, okay? I know there is a shiny, light-skinned, articulate, clean, whatever the fuck you want to call Obama. There's one of them in our recent past, and that's Obama. And Obama ran game on all of us, okay? We won't get food again, and you niggas better not get food. You whites too. y'all me do my nephew Don here. Where's my camera? Which camera? What is the camera? You niggas and non-niggas better not get fooled by this fucking shiny, light-skinned ass, articulate veteran bullshit. Okay, let me go ahead. Will run the video. Run the video of old cantaloupe head ass.
I'm Wes Moore, the current governor of the state of Maryland, and former captain in the U.S. Army with the 82nd Airborne Division. And today I just wrapped up a run in honor of the Army's 250th. You probably heard what the president's doing tomorrow, doing a whole military parade for himself. It's because he doesn't understand what it means to put country before himself. When I think about that kind of service, I think about Colonel Murphy. Colonel Murphy was the Commandant of Cadets of Valley Forge Military Academy, where I attended. He's one of the most intimidating individuals I've ever met, but he was also incredibly fair. And he demanded excellence from every single cadet he commanded, and he also instilled in us a sense of duty and to make a positive impact in the world. He's no longer with us, but his lessons live through me and everybody who had the honor of serving under him. That's the kind of person who deserves a parade. Happy birthday, Army.
So Wes Moore, if I'm not mistaken, was deployed to Afghanistan. I can't remember what was the highest rank he held. Maybe it was captain. Did he just say captain? I'd like to know how many Afghan civilians Wes Moore killed while he was deployed. And I can only assume that he likely did kill some folks in Afghanistan, because he was put on the fast track to national platforming, to national visibility, right? Like Wes Moore doesn't have any political experience. Wes Moore was never on a city council. He was never a county executive. He was never a mayor. He was never any of this shit. And this motherfucker's governor. Oh, whoa. Not just governor. Hold on, not just governor. He's the first black governor. Wow. That's white man fast tracking, right? And I can only assume that the white man put his ass there for a reason, on purpose. Obama, it was reported, during the kerfuffle searching for who would replace Biden before it was confirmed that Kamala was going to get the nod to be the nominee, etc., it was reported that Obama was in the background pushing for Wes. I said, oh, if Obama endorses him, then this nigga's definitely an enemy. He is definitely an enemy. And you see how he put on his respectability code switching voice for y'all? You see, I mean, now I can code switch too, motherfucker, but I'm not code switching in defense of the goddamn empire. I code switch if I'm talking to elders, or what's another reason to code switch? If I got to go to the bank or some shit, right? Like you code switch when you got to talk proper, whatever. But he put on his, I'm a veteran. I'm running in the 250th anniversary of the army, and Donald Trump puts country, does not put country before self. Okay, all right, nigga. Okay. That's Wes trying to keep himself relevant, not relevant per se, but what I'm trying to say is that is Wesley's message to show to the whites, I suppose, that he is safe, that he's an actual patriot. He's a veteran. He went to Afghanistan. He likely killed people. Isn't that enough to prove his Americanness? Isn't that enough to prove his patriotic creds? As far as black people are concerned, it should not be. It should not be. And let me tell you guys something. Wes, that cantaloupe head ass motherfucker, let me tell you how he has captured the blacks of Maryland. Oh, it is the saddest shit that y'all will ever see. It is so fucking sad. It is so sad. Like, trust me, like the Marylanders that that appear on the platforms that we all support, dog, when I tell you we are in the minority, okay, black people in this area are enamored with the Moors. They really are, because they think they looking at baby Barack and Michelle, because him and his wife give great presentation. You know what I'm saying? They got that fucking Jack and Jill ass shit down. Okay. Like you can tell these is Jack and Jill ass niggas, and they look the part, they sound the part, and all these bougie niggas in Maryland is eating that shit up. I say, y'all don't even recognize the Trojan horses when you see them. God damn. How can anybody of certain age and I guess even small political consciousness, how can we not remember the game that Obama ran on us? Game, my niggas, game. Obama came out with that, I look at Trayvon Martin and he could have been my son. Okay, then why the fuck did you decide to arm police to the teeth? You know what I'm saying? I know it wasn't the police that killed Trayvon. It was the police that killed Mike Brown. Obama was president during the Ferguson uprisings, during the uprisings in Baltimore with the murder of Freddie Gray by police. Like, Obama was the ones telling black folks that y'all need to go back in the house. We can't have all this lawlessness in the streets. And look at it now. Who was always causing the fucking lawlessness? The cops. The cops murdered people. People came out in response to protest, to tear shit up, as they were, in my opinion, perfectly allowed to do. And it's niggas like Obama. It will be niggas like Wes Moore that'll tell you that your anger is unjustified and that you are responding to police violence, to state violence, racialized state violence, the wrong way. Right? Wes Moore is going to be the next respectability hero, okay? Nationally. He is the local respectability hero in the state of Maryland, and I hate it. I hate it so bad. So I just wanted to show y'all that video because they're going to try to run Wes on the rest of yous, okay? They already trotted his ass out at the Democratic National Convention. Again, this nigga he ain't got the panache. Like Obama, to his fucking credit, and I understand why Obama is so good with his oratory, because he is a Leo. You gotta give respect when it's due. Okay, the nigga can Leo. The nigga is an amazing Leo. He's a terrible person though, as some Leos are, by the way. Present company excluded. I'm a bad Leo and I'm a good person, but Obama is a really good Leo and a terrible person. I can't remember what Wes's birth date. I don't remember his astrology sign, but whatever. The hairless face and the U.S. Army Ranger credentials and the deployment to Afghanistan need to be disqualifying in the eyes of the rest of y'all. And trust me, now Wes Moore has done some things policy-wise in the state of Maryland that some are going to point to and be like, "We'll see, he tried to do," what the fuck did he do? He pardoned people with marijuana convictions, but those convictions were not expunged, or those convictions were not either expunged nor vacated from people's records, right? So because Wes Moore issued pardons to people, not all, but a significant chunk of folks, that still doesn't erase those marijuana convictions from their record. And it's the criminal record that holds people back from employment, from housing, from different opportunities, etc. So again, if he was really about the shit, he would have expunged and or vacated those convictions instead of simply pardoning them. So, but that's a little carrot. That's an example of the carrot that he's going to dangle, and the Democrats are going to dangle come 2027, 2028 to show you, Black people in particular, that Wes Moore can be trusted. And I'm here to tell you, he cannot. Don't you fucking dare. We might as well go with another cracker. At least it's like, okay, all right, fine. Andy Bashir, Gavin Newsom, whoever the fuck, run another cracker up that they probably gonna try to float for the Democratic nominee. But I'm sorry, I will not be bullied or pressured by the bourgeoisie Black community. And well, we better support this brother because blah blah blah. Fuck that nigga, okay? Fuck him. Fuck him. He's a op. He's worse than the police. This nigga's a ranger, okay? He's an Army Ranger. All of that shit is disqualifying to me and should not be trusted by the mass of Black folks. But the bougies are going to try to convince you otherwise. Don't be fooled again. And for my last story, we have come to the palate cleanser portion of the program. Shout out to Trey D. Trey D, I appreciate your support. I don't know why I think, Trey D, that you are actually what's a face 213. You know how happy, I mean, even if you're not a member of the 213 clique, by the way, shout out to the 213 clique out there. But every time I see your name, I think of Goldie Loke. You know what I'm saying? I think of them West Coast rapping ass niggas. But thank you so much for your support, Trey D. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for everybody that showed up tonight. Gotta run to the bongs. Okay. No problem. Do me a favor, guys. Like the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Our subscriptions have slowed down to a trickle, and I don't like it. But you can support us if you want to. We appreciate it. We'll accept your super chats. We'll accept your cash apps. $ BIDWKB. Venmo at BIDWKB. Patreon.com/BIDWKB and or PayPal.me/BIDWKB. Who can I see in here? I want to shout out to all of our wonderful mods. Thank you so much to Latif. Thank you so much to Swery Afari. Thank you so much to Vespa X. Thank you so much to Courtney the Stallion. Hi, Courtney. I miss you, honey. I hope everybody's doing good. Shout out to Simba. Shout out to our pet crew. Shout out to the dog parents out here. You know what I'm saying? Who else was what is up to my son Tyler? Who else is my mods? I don't know if I got. But I appreciate Donnie Bird. Thank you, Afraid Not. What's up, Wendy? What's up, Holly? Did I see Yippanan in this motherfucker? What's up, Yippanan? ZZ Lion Dad. You know I love you, ZZ Lion Dad. Big up, big up. Shout out to all of our day oneers. What's up, John Kemper? Who else we got up in here? James been around these parts. I ain't seen James in a second. Shout out to Leah Bogg. Shout out to Imani Nile. Shout out to all the folks. We love everybody. Shirley, love you. Still mad at you. But I love you, Shirley. I'm still mad at you. But I love you, Shirley. Shout out to Francis French in the building. 2F. Chichi Macha, thank you so much. The NO checking in. I love y'all to pieces. Please be safe out here, everybody. Jesus. We live in crazy times, gang. Start growing your own weed. Let's be smart out here, people. I'm gonna have to update you guys on my little garden. I got herbs I can eat in terms of I grew cilantro successfully. I grew basil successfully. I grew some parsley successfully. I got an okra plant that's out here stunting on these hoes. My tomatoes are bushing up, but they have not bore any fruit yet. So I have not yet been able to successfully feed myself, but the summer is still young. So hopefully I can get some food sprouted here, and then I will be starting on my bud grows. Because, gang, when the shit goes down, I'm going to need the weed. I'm going to need weed, baby. And I know how to make homemade wine. So when the shit go down, if y'all want to barter some toilet paper for some wine, come holler at your girl, man. I think I got you. So June is LGBTQ plus Pride Month. We want to big up all of our gay, trans, non-binary folks, gender non-conforming folks. Buck. Be safe out here during Pride, gang. And so I never studied like gender studies, and I'll admit, gender, sex, it all confuses me. And I would attribute it to my age, but no, I can't do that because there are plenty of people my age who are very versed on the differences between gender and sex and orientation and gender identity and all that. I'm not versed. I send love and solidarity. I want people to be who they want to be and love who you want to love. And you have a right to do all those things without people being in your motherfucking business, without that shit being legislated, without motherfuckers trying to check your draws. You understand? Like, I believe in the ability of all folks to live and love in peace, right? Don't ask me the difference between gender, sex, gender identity, and all that shit, because no, I can't do it. But I'm not opposed to any of it. Just don't ask me to explain it or define it. So when I came across the video of this sister, I think she identifies herself as a stud. And I don't even know if they identify as she. So let me get my pronouns correct. The video of this person, I believe they identify as a stud. They present to me as a masculine woman, but I don't know how they identify. And I understand that all of this stuff is very fluid, right? Like you might think is one way, but it's the other way. So when I saw this clip, I said, who can disagree with this? Who can disagree with this? Even the lesbians, even the actual lesbians may not take issue with this particular take from this person. So I'm gonna run the tape because the shit made me smile and giggle. And I said, okay, well, this might make my folks smile and giggle also in honor of Pride Month. So we'll go ahead and run that clip, please. Thank you.
Just a thought. If I end up in Africa or Jamaica on my next trip, all this stud shit flies out the window. I'm fucking one of them niggas. And I don't care what y'all gotta say or if I'm gonna lose stud points, whatever. I know what kind of blouse I'm gonna get. I know what kind of bathing suits I'm gonna wear. I know everything of the such that I'm finna do. What, I'm gonna lose some points? I ain't a stud no more because I'm finna get broke down by one of them niggas in Africa? It ain't no way I'm gonna go out there and miss out on some kingdom dick, some motherland dick. Is y'all crazy? Huh? What's wrong with y'all? Okay? Girls is all that in a bag of chips, but you really think that I'm finna go to a place of the such and not get something of the sorts? Please. You can have this stud shit all you want. Now, though I love being a stud and I love my women, when I go to Africa and Jamaica, like I said, you want to join in things that are such, because I'm not fucking with you. I'm fucking with him, and it ain't nothing you gonna do about it. Anyways, how y'all doing today, and what y'all doing?
Now listen. That is not a wholesale unproblematic take. There are some problems in the take, right? You know, that about Western women, American women going to the global South and engaging in our own little sex tourism. You know, a lot of times it's the Euro women going to Africa in search of some mandingo, or going to the Caribbean in search of some, you know, Victor St. Jacques Nick swinging. Y'all remember that from Eddie Murphy Raw? So, you know, but Black women from America do those things. And that is problematic, I suppose. I guess there's some sort of class exploitation there. You know, some terms that our more educated brethren and sistren can probably articulate better than I. But at the same time, y'all, when my girl said, if you think that if I go to Africa, she said, I'm putting all this stud shit down. I'm going down there to get Baroque off. I said, girl, who can blame you? Who can blame you? And that's not, and again, that's another problem. That's another problematic part of the take. You know, Black men are fetishized for the generousness, I suppose, or their in level of endowment, which is accurate. But we should not objectify our brothers. We should not reduce them simply to their genitals. However, if we're talking about consenting adults, I don't see anything wrong. I don't see, let me not sing that person's song, so let me calm down also. So anyway, I saw that. I thought it was hilarious. I definitely think that my sister or my sibling right there would temporarily check their studness in order to get D down. So anyway, I was going to say, who can blame her? And I understand, in spite of the problematicness of the take, I don't disagree. But anyway, guys, that's my show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like the video on your way out the door. Don't forget, please go subscribe to Black Liberation Media. Tomorrow is the actual fucking news day, okay? Like Ricky and Jackie gonna bring it to you. They gonna bang you upside the head with the real shit. And I even think there are guests scheduled tomorrow, 8 a.m. the Remix Morning Show, Black Liberation Media. Don't forget, Thursday after the Remix Morning Show, join myself and the Ear Doctor for a classical breakdown. We will be breaking down the incredibly illustrious, influential, legitimately iconic career of Sly Stone, who has recently made his transition. So thanks all to everybody that came through. What up, Twitch? Shout out to Northern Witch. What's up, Rosalba? If you're watching us on Twitch, push buttons and shit over there, do the things. And I appreciate all of our people. Make sure I don't forget nobody. I think I shouted out all my real ones. Will, did we have any other acknowledgments before we bid adieu?
Nope. Everybody have a good night. Thank you again. Deidre the Destroyer on Twitch, Northern Witch, Vesper X, Don Hammond.
Hey, Don.
Everybody. We got a lot of people in the chat. Northern Witch, Lady Alex, everybody.
Hey, Lady Alex. Hello.
We appreciate y'all. A lot of people. Sugar Shan, Vesper X,
hey,
Brave 9.
blah, blah, blah. Yes, blah, 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 blah. But
was
yes.
acting up.
Who
But
was
yeah,
acting up the troll? Tell me again what the so these are Zio trolls. These are
those trolls.
Oh, are y'all real people or are y'all AI? Like Hasbara. Y'all the Hasbara trolls? Are you in Tel Aviv? You should get in the safe room. There's fireworks outside. Be careful. Anyway, thanks, Will. Thank you so much to Will and Molly.
Hit that like, y'all.
And we'll see y'all back here on Friday, kids. Love you guys. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Peace, peace, peace. Deuces.